Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's Nihar Afridi here with a fast video lecture on linguistics. We're going to get some objectives in our today's video. You can see them on the screen. We're going to find answers to these questions like what's phonetics, what are its kinds, what's the difference between phonetics and phonology, what's the importance of phonetics. So these are the things we are going to find in our today's class. If you are ready, let's get started then. Phonetics, a mountain to climb. I'm just kidding. It's not a mountain. It's a very simple topic. All we need to do is just to consider this simple definition of phonetics. What is there in definition? It says that the general study of the characteristics of speech sounds. So important points of this definition, the general study. So phonetics is the general study of sounds. Like it's not a particular study of sounds. Like we don't study a particular language in phonetics. So we study all of the languages, we study their sounds, we study their sound production mechanisms and alike. And another important point in this definition is characteristics. So phonetics gives us the set of characteristics for the sounds, like what is meant by characteristics. It means that whether a sound is bilabial, whether it is produced by two lips, how the sound is produced, whether it is plosive, and whether it is causing vibration in vocal cords. So it's a kind of set of characteristics. Another important point that we see in the definition, speech sounds. So phonetics is the study of speech sounds. So we just study those sounds which are used in speech. Like clapping hands is also a kind of sound. So when we clap hands, so it makes a kind of sound. So it's not a speech sound. So that's why we don't study it in what we call it in phonetics. So we just study speech sounds. And phonetics with some branches, like it's got three branches. First one is articulatory phonetics. It means how the sounds are produced, how the sounds are made, talking about the production mechanisms that are there behind the production of sounds. Okay, acoustic phonetics, where we study in acoustic phonetics, we study physical properties of speech, like what is the behavior of sound, what is the behavior of speech in the air, like what is the frequency and what is the amplitude. Auditory phonetics is all about perception. It means that how the sounds are perceived and understood. So you got it? It's all about phonetics. Phone means sound and tics means study. So it's the study of sounds. So it's phonetics. It reminds me of something in Pashto language. We say in Pashto that it means that it doesn't matter how high the mountain is, but there is a way to climb it. There is a way to it as well. So we just climbed the mountain. So it was all about phonetics. A very simple thing. No understanding? That's why kind of 12 o'clock on your face. Okay, let me give it another try. Actually, we know that a sound, a speech, it travels from one person to another person, from one speaker to another listener. Like it's a kind of chain. That traveling of speech is a kind of chain. Okay, but how does it work? Actually, it works with three stages. The first one is called physiological stage, where the production of sound is made, means sound is produced here. This is called articulatory phonetics. Okay, once the sound is produced, once it is made oral, then it comes into the air. This is called the physical stage. We may call it acoustic stage. Okay, then what happens in the third stage, which is called psychological stage? we may call it auditory stage as well. Like a sound is perceived here, it is understood here, so we understand a sound here. So that is how speech sound travels. Okay, so one person is speaking, okay, a sound is produced in his mouth, then the sound comes into the open air, then it is reaching our ears, then our minds for understanding, and then we speak back. So this is a kind of chain. Okay, the sound travels and then it goes to and comes back, goes to and comes back. So this is a kind of speech chain. Well, it's not a good idea to ask a question at this stage, especially when we just started discussing phonetics, but it's also very important to ask this question. The question is, what is the relationship between phonetics and phonology? So relationship is very, very clear. They both are interdependent, they both are friends. No phonetics, no phonology. So in order to understand phonology, it's very important to get a bit of idea of phonetics, because one gives foundation to another. Okay, especially when we are talking about speech sounds. So we study speech sounds in both of these branches of linguistics. One thing is common between phonetics and phonology, and it's the study of speech sounds. But the difference is there in the treatment. Phonetics is the study of speech sounds in an isolated form, like we study isolated sounds in phonetics. Take the example of pa. So it's a kind of isolated sound. It's not used in combination with some other sounds. One thing more that we get in phonetics is the set of the characteristics of sound. Like phonetics gives us a kind of set through which we can describe sounds. Like pa is a sound, so how to describe it with a set? We can describe it. Pa is bilabial, pa is plosive, pa is voiceless sound. So it's a set that we get in phonetics. And it's a general study, it's not a particular study of a particular language. So it's the study of all available sounds of all available languages. When we are coming to phonology, we are coming to a different word. So we don't study sounds in isolated form here. In fact, we study sounds in combinations with other sounds. So phonology is the organization, rules, regulations, and combinations of sounds. Take the example of pa sound. So it is used in two combinations here, like print is one combination. So look at the pronunciation of pa, print. But when we pronounce the next word, like pat, so there is a kind of ha sound for its pronunciation. Why is it so? Because of the context, because of phonological context, not social context. Actually, we have social context in our lives. The way we speak to our parents, we don't speak it in the same way to our friends. So it's because of context that we have a kind of change, a kind of variation in our language use. So same happens here in phonology, that sounds behave differently when they are used in different environments. And phonology is the study of particular language, like we study particular language, the sounds of particular language in phonology. Whereas phonetics is general study, it's not a particular study. So this is one of the differences, one of the important differences between phonetics and phonology. One more example to explain the difference between phonetics and phonology. Actually, what you see on screen, you see material. So phonetics is similar to that of material. We get material in phonetics. But when we are going to organize that material, when we are going to use that material in a very organized order, we'll get something special, something delicious called cake. So this is exactly what happens in the studies of phonetics and phonology. Phonetics just gives us raw material. It just gives us sounds. It's got nothing to do with the combination. Where combination takes place of these sounds in phonology. So phonology studies sounds in combination. So we have rules, regulations, methods, methodologies of the combinations and organizations of these sounds in phonology. We've been talking about phonetics for the last 10 minutes, but a very important question crossing our minds is why to use phonetics, or what's the importance of phonetics in a language. So it's a very simple question, but very difficult thing to answer. So I'll try to answer this question. Let's get into it. Actually, you see this word APPLE on screen. You know how to pronounce it? It's apple. Now, then what's the pronunciation? Apple. Okay, it's apple. Well, actually, how did I get the right pronunciation, or how did we get the right pronunciation of that word, apple? The question is very simple in phonetics. How? Actually, phonetics helps us in pronunciation, we know that. If we know phonetics, we will be able to pronounce words correctly. Like phonetics gives us IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. It's a comprehensive symbol set that can help us in pronunciation. Like it's a set of symbols, what we get in that chart, what we get in the chart of IPA, like we get where the sound is pronounced from, how the sound is pronounced. So if we know where the sound is pronounced from and how to pronounce a sound, then it will bring beauty, charm, and attraction in our pronunciation. Okay, guys, I think it's enough for today. Take good care of yourself. See you next time. Till then, bye bye.